So guys, we are finally back again for the second reaction. I did this one, that's crazy, but we are back again for the second reaction on this here today reaction channel, guys. So with that said, guys, big up all the Mystelics family for tuning into this here reaction video, and the newcomers out there, big up yourself as well for tuning into this here reaction. Don't forget, guys, to give this video a thumbs up. I would appreciate that right there. That helps the algorithm of YouTube to push the videos further and further and further. So just click, it doesn't take much, brothers and sisters, just click the thumbs up button right there in this regard. And of course, let me know your thoughts on the things that we're going to talk about here on this here reaction video. With that said, guys, don't forget to download the app. I said in the last reaction, don't forget to download the Mystelics Tube app. That will be the first comment in the comment box below, and of course in the description as well. Of course, all links of the different vibrations will be in the description for you guys to definitely check out as well. Now guys, as we're seeing on this here thing, we have a number of interesting events coming up. Of course, two for which we know Dominicans love very much, that is cricket. Right there, West Indies versus Bangladesh, or Bangladesh. I always say in Bangladesh, there's no L there, but Bangladesh. Bangladesh, brothers and sisters. West Indies versus Bangladesh. Right there. Two T20s, of course. We love the T20 games. We do. Some of us do like the 50s and the 5-day long thing, brothers and sisters. So I think Dominicans are definitely going to come out for this one. This one takes place July 2nd and 3rd at the Windsor Park Sports Stadium, starting at 1 p.m. on both days, 1:30 p.m. on both days, July 2nd and July 3rd right there. And of course, there's a number of different things. As time goes by, we'll definitely bring out this information. I was told to share this with you guys as well. So that's what I'm doing right there, brothers and sisters. West Indies versus Bangladesh, brothers and sisters, in this regard right there. But of course, definitely get your tickets when that more information comes out. Of course, I think you can definitely get your tickets at the gate of the Windsor Park Sports Stadium. And of course, everybody look to be out there. Hopefully we win. West Indies win. Bangladesh. I don't know what Bangladesh mean, but that sounds like Bangkok, man. Anyways, that's another story right there. Anyways, guys, this is not what we're gonna be talking about here in this video, but I actually saw this thing circulating right there. So I can make this thing a bit better for you guys to see. Yes, sir. Brightness. Yes, sir. Anyways, guys, this is what individuals were circulating sometime. I found this yesterday, and of course it circulated back to me, and I was like, what on earth are people talking about? This is what people are saying. So based on this individual's theory, this is another individual's theory, but when you're making theories, brothers and sisters, I think you need to make sense, especially within the time frame of things. This individual is saying Kian Hashe the pastor, because he met the pastor doing this to the little youth right there. He then left without the little youth, and the pastor then decided to end and bury the little youth that he apparently doing this to. That's what, according to that individual. I don't know where they get that kind of logic, but hey, that's what the individual is saying. So she won't talk. So pretty much ended her because he was doing her that, allegedly doing her that. So she won't talk. That's what individuals have come up with. So the madman, aka Kian, was apparently running from the cops because he know that he Hashi the pastor man. Reason he said the little youth in the house in Warner, because that's where he left her. So the person is saying this to arrest the whole family right there. No, I felt to. There's some other theories that I saw, but this one was the most this one was the most known. Now, and people are actually liking and questioning and saying that's a possibility right there. But people doesn't use their brain to see if what they're saying or reading makes sense in the first place. So the person is saying that Kian decided to hash the pastor because he caught him doing this to the child, to the little one. He left without the little one, and the pastor decided to take out the little one and bury her while being hashed by Kian. So while he had injuries in his face and his neck, he decided to go and do what? He decided to go and take out the little youth. Not only that, but decide to dig a hole while being hashed and neck thing. Dig a hole, he get the energy and the strength to do all that while he hashed. And then bury the little youth. Then cover the little youth. Then manage to climb his way on top the mountain or the hill for him to get help for being hashed. That making sense? And people are liking that and saying that they should arrest the whole family for the foolish thing they just hit it. You mean a man hash you and you have the energy and the strength to then take a life, to dig a hole, bury, then cover, and then climb up a hill while all kind of thing is coming up from your body. That making sense to all you? All you must think. Some of all you must think. Then another person tell me that can catch him doing this in the bush, watching all the commotion happen in the bush. Boy, human beings that just freak me out, you know. Boy. So can pull up in the bush, watching all the commotion happen like his TV. Then wait for the man after he finished in the bush to go in his house to then hash him. All you doesn't use all your brain. All you like Tory. All you like Tory, boy. Oh my God. Anyways, guys, this is not why we're here today. We're actually here on the lawyer. What the lawyer has to say. Tiani Ben Hanzin. Yeah, this is him right there, and of course on the whole thing. Let's listen.
I didn't really waste my time here on this back and forth. While our full attention should be placed really on the search for this precious child.
Well, we are back to square zero because they take out the very man that will most likely know where she is. Let's continue.
But a number of statements have been made by the Attorney General, and we need to respond to them. And the first is that there's a suggestion that the police acted lawfully in relation to the autopsy. As I said before, the family were informed at 7 o'clock the day on the need to come to identify the body. They didn't exactly tell them where, nor did they really clarify. They never told them that there was an inquest opening that day, so they could not have given them any prior notice. They did not give any prior notice, so at least they could have made arrangements to ensure that they put in place whether legal representation or any other option that they wish to take, if in fact they were given a few days' notice.
But guys, help me understand how all that shit, all that magic happening. If a family member you pass away, they tell you come and identify. All that have to happen there. All that have to happen there. All that there. Unless they're hiding something, which is interesting. I heard Blackmore speaking today. I actually went out for me to go and get a juice somewhere and what have you. And I heard him on the radio speaking. And it was very specific in that time that I had to be there, brothers and sisters. And I heard Blackmore saying on the radio that people tend to make mistakes. Kian was not just anybody. He was also a human being, a family and whatnot. But people also tend to make mistakes. And he was speaking basically about the officer that most likely pulled the trigger. Therefore, if he's talking about mistakes, doesn't that mean that Kian wasn't in attack mode? If there was a mistake made? If there was a mistake made, and remember guys, they had the cutlass on Wednesday, which means he didn't have anything. So the mistake being made on the basis of what the journalist was saying seems like it makes more sense than what the police was ever saying. And the fact that Blackmore is coming and talking now saying people make mistakes, doesn't that mean they're trying to soften the blow? Because previously all you were saying that he attacked all you. Now Blackmore is talking about mistakes. Interesting stuff, ain't it? Anyways, let's continue right here.
Their loved one was killed on Saturday, and they were called on Tuesday morning to be told to come and identify the body. Now,
so it's 2 days later. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. 3 days later.
Simply, we need to clarify this. There was no need, and there was no suggestion that the jury from the inquest need to be present when a viewing of the body takes place. What we stated was that the normal function is that the body is identified, the hospital's own rules, and the changing will be aware of this.
So they're changing the rules when things are not suiting to them, because they don't want the family to inspect and see if what the police was saying was correct or not. It is very clear, brothers and sisters. I'm not saying for people to go out there and protest, but just be mindful that this same situation might end up happening to you. And we understand people were talking, oh, it's good that he's out and whatnot. on the basis that his very parents were saying that he's level-headed when he takes his medication, doesn't that mean that the thing that should have really happened was giving him his medication or ensuring that his medication was taken? And if he was in the bush for 11 days without medication, obviously he would be acting a certain way, no doubt about it. But he should not have been taken out, because he's the only one that would know where the little girl is. However, there's a point of matter stating that the little girl was not with him. There's another theory that kind of makes sense right there. If he had to go out, wouldn't he be carrying somebody and that slow him down? So on the basis, and that's just one of the things that made sense based off the outside of this stupidness that person was saying there. Most likely he left the girl and the girl ended up going somewhere or with somebody else or what have you. There's some underlying thing that a lot of people don't seem to understand, because things don't seem to mesh. What the police saying doesn't mesh. Some of what the parents them saying doesn't mesh. The only person I'm believing right now is the biological father of this girl, because he's saying a lot of things that actually mesh in and make sense, and you can tell he's genuine in his emotions. Sometimes it might certain parts might look like it's based off a camera thing, and I understand, but this is still genuine as well. If you understand body language, and of course, you know, being in front of the camera, you don't want to be in front of the camera and so forth and so forth. You will act in certain ways, you know, because you know a lot of people are watching you. But based off the whole thing, you can tell from the general outlook of his behavior that he's one of the most genuine out of everybody out there. Well, aside from when Curtis was trying to make break. But anyways, there's another story right there. So she might not have been with him, and if she might not have been with him, then that means he's not an abductor. So if she wasn't with him when he left, then where is that little girl right now? On the basis that if he did take her and go somewhere, whatever, then he's the only person that would know where she is. Thus resulting in the police still continuously doing search right now. And it seems like there's a word on the ground saying that may be called off. I told you guys that the trail is going to go cold. I told you guys that, you know, because they eliminated the one man that would know where this girl is if he actually had her right there. So, and if the police was actually correct in what they were saying, stating that he said that she's in some basement in one or something like that, if that was what they stated, and that was actually what he stated, then that would mean that he wasn't carrying the girl around, because she never left Warner. True or false? Let me know your thoughts, guys. Let's continue right there.
Sitting in his office, the hospital rooms, and the protocol in these circumstances is that the member of the family identify the remains, and something is allowed to inspect the remains, because at the end of the day, the member of the family has a right to remain throughout the autopsy procedures. So,
and they're preventing that from happening, which means they are trying to prevent somebody from knowing the information. Not only that though, as time goes by, they can then cover up the wounds. There's different things we learn in Hollywood. I think Amber was doing that as well. Amber Heard, where she was doing makeup and stuff. They can actually use clay, use the different makeup stuff, and fix back what they did. So then when the people come and inspect, it looks normal, depending on how well they do it. So they can literally be covering up stuff instead of having the family inspect. And if the family were inspected at the time, which I think should have happened, when he was taken, they come and inspect and say, okay, that is my family member and what have you. And then they continue doing whatever they have to do. That's how I know it normally is. They identify the body, they put the name and everything. Sometimes they even have to go in Catholic church to get the real name and whatnot of people. That's keeping in tune with the whole situation. But making sure you identify the person so they can ensure that they put it. But right now they have him as unknown, but they know who he is. Interesting stuff, ain't it?
Whether or not you seek to deny them the chance to inspect the body, that will still become relevant and apparently possible, because that person, family member, is able to stay for the entire autopsy process. So nobody is suggesting that the jury cannot go and view the body. The jury must view the body, but that is only done after the body is identified.
That makes sense, doesn't it?
And that was the point that we made. So that's wrong. Secondly, we suggested the use of Section 30, and this has been an ongoing dispute between myself and the Attorney General because of his convenient interpretation of what Section 30 says. Section 30, on application by an attorney at an inquest, the opening of an inquest, make an application to the coroner to be part of the process. The Attorney General has always interpreted that to mean that only appearance at the hearing, which is pretty ridiculous. An inquest is a complete process of opening, choosing a jury, the facts being read by the police as they appear to be known to them, the jury then adjourning to the morgue where the body is identified by the family members, and then the jury gets an opportunity to view the body and inspect the body. So that later on in deliberation, after the autopsy is completed, the jury will then, from the notes that they would have made while looking at the injuries of the body, will decide the cause of death. In these circumstances, the coroner is sent to suggest the cause of death, and the jury just rubber stamps that decision. Now, if you do not...
I'm checking first of all, who are the juries? And if it's normal people who are coming and inspect the body, then how can they say, okay, this is the cause of death, unless there's an expert there who then gives this briefing with the jury and they said, okay, that makes sense or not? I guess that would be it. Because if the jury are a normal set of people, then they wouldn't be experts in identifying and saying, okay, this is it. But if they're seeing bruises and this kind of things there, unless the jury is handpicked and the police is the one picking this jury to cover their skin for what they did, because I remember today Blackmore was saying there's a mistake that was made. So if that is the case, then they're trying to cover up. And if they're trying to cover up, then that means a lawsuit can be filed by the parents or by whoever is the next of kin. And there's a big problem in this because they know they would lose, especially if there was a mistake done that was rendered not following the rules of the police.
Give the family enough notice. The option of applying via Section 30 to the coroner does not exist because you told them only on that day and they could not, in that period, that short period of time, to get representation. In fact, the family was only able to instruct me well past 9 on that day. The process had already begun.
How the process can be gone and the family to inspect the people to say, okay, that is my son, that is my brother. Guys, only to find only to find, no? Oh, okay.
And even the attempts by myself to instruct another attorney to hold papers at the opening inquest was thwarted. So it was impossible for the family to make papers arrangement, nor could such an application be made at all. No, so it's always been the Attorney General's interpretation that any Section 30 acceptance by the coroner means that the only participation is actually via the hearing, which is foolishness. The inquest involves a lot more than just the hearing. The inquest involves the autopsy at the morgue, the full autopsy, and in some cases I have been given permission, not just here in Dominica, but other parts of this jurisdiction of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, to partake in an inquest. So it's pointless for the Attorney General to dictate what his interpretation may be. That you're not a judge.
So he's just making up his own rules then. That's what he's doing. That's what the Attorney General doing. Well, then again, this is Dominica, so it's not too far-fetched. But that shouldn't be. Unless the Attorney General, the police, and a number of the jurors, all of them working together.
You're just an Attorney General. I know you wish to be a judge. I know you wish to pass sentence. I know you wish to condemn the gentleman and pass sentence. Just look at your words. Now, a wise man always first takes his own
advice.
opinion. Listen to what you say at the end. And your statement suggesting that those who are passing aspersion, allegations, and so on, you need to first take that onto yourself. You take it onto yourself because first you refer to the man as a violent abductor. Then you said that
without no proof. That's another thing I have to point out, guys. Like I mentioned before, how do we know that he abducted the girl? We know that he came into the building, which of course it could have been some other situation that happened. Maybe he came in too late and the man was like, okay, no, you coming too late, you need to go, whatever. Maybe he was not on his medication and he was acting up and decided to attack the pastor, and as a result of that thing, the girl maybe got in hand in thing, trying to stop them, whatever, and then he took her and go, you know, not necessarily taking her to run away, you know, but he took her and then put her in the yard or whatever. I don't know. It could be something, and she decided to go and think, or maybe she ran out for help and then somebody else took her. It could be. There's different variations. So how can you say that he abducted her? That's just this storyline that we heard. It's kind of like how they prepare news. They come first and they give you the story. Just like the police came in and they come first to give their story, on realizing that the story doesn't add up to the time frame. That is how the first thing happened, you know, brothers and sisters. When the police came and gave their theory saying it's 3:15, they encountered him and whatnot. When they checked the news, when they heard that he was from the news, it was earlier. It was around 1:32 when they heard the news. Individuals heard that the police encountered him. So that is what that pitched the whole thing. And then upon further investigation, other individuals who were actually there then rendered their story stating what actually happened during that time. And this is when the journalists came out and gave the information. So the police gave their theory. It was looking like it was okay, he attacked them one not cutlass, only to find out Wednesday they caught the cutlass first, which means he had to have a second cutlass. And if that is the case, they have to then prove 2 cutlasses. It's not, it's simple common sense, you know, brothers and sisters. You can always connect the dots. If certain things don't make sense, fine. But when you connected the dots based on what individual was saying, you realize their story is lies. And it's clear to see that the police was lying. Or maybe the police didn't know that's the story that they gave him, and he come in the commission and decide to give that story exactly, when in fact that wasn't the case. So it's very interesting when it comes down to media. When they give you news first, they expect you to swallow it. But if it doesn't add up with the timelines, that's when people start getting suspicious, and that is what happened in this one.
Demise abductor. Then you said abductor. So you have decided that he's convicted
without any proof. Yes, she disappeared. Something else could have happened. He could have been the abductor, true. But you need to prove this. Instead, all you take him out, saying that he attacked all you, knowing that he was injured. All you say that, you know. All you say he attacked all you, when he was previously was being chased by 3 individuals. That same Wednesday, the Wednesday where they got the head tie, the cutlass and something else. They got these things, a sleeping bag. So they got these things on Wednesday. He was running away. He escaped from the individual, jumped down somewhere. Most likely that would indicate that he was injured. So if he was injured and then tried to take you without cutlass, he being injured, doesn't that mean there's something that you guys, the police, are saying that is not accurate? Just to cover the skin? No, autopsies have been done. They want the family to find out the investigation. That's the only way the public will know, you know. Because the police can be lying. They lied already. They can be lying again. Unless the whole system is with them, then you know that it's a corrupt regime. This is why the police don't go after the rights of the people they're supposed to go behind. So there seems to be some sort of corrupt regime happening there. But anyways, let's continue.
Something that only a court can do. So you are saying to your officers that it's perfectly legitimate for them to execute him, which is essentially what happened on Saturday morning.
Yep.
And you are now asking and saying that whether or not there is substantial evidence at all, when your own words suggest that there is in fact grounds to make it appear that the killing is not an extrajudicial killing, but a lawful killing. We're saying...
And that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Based on the timeline from Wednesday to Saturday, that doesn't make sense. Because all you say, oh, he attacked all you. With what? So you have to prove that he's an abductor. 1. 2, you have to prove that he was attacking you guys. Will that happen? I want that case to call her. Yeah, boy. I am myself going to be there. Yes, sir. I want to be there, boy.
That it seems and it looks like extrajudicial killing. No, the statement by the Deputy Commissioner suggests a number of points which we say tries to lay the foundation for legitimate lawful killing. We are saying that this was an extrajudicial killing. An extrajudicial killing means that's when security forces kill and execute an individual under suspicion because they have decided that for whatever reason, that individual can be killed. And we're saying that's unacceptable.
Yep, unacceptable. You have to prove. Make sure you call that case, you know. Family members, I know some people just watch my videos. Make sure you go ahead with this case. Make sure you don't make this thing escape like that.
Now, if your deputy commissioner states...
Because I say open and close, that is an easy one to solve. Especially bringing forth, and they have to prove. They have to prove these things.
That the gentleman...
And they have to show the 3 feet long cutlass too.
The gentleman had a 3-foot cutlass. He attempted to attack the police. He was then injured, and after the injury, he spoke and gave several information as to the whereabouts of the child.
No making sense.
Now, you are accusing the deceased, the alleged deceased. We don't know who he is because he hasn't been identified. You are saying that he is first a demise abductor. You call him that. Why would you even pass sentence as to what he is? This is still allegations. If they're allegations, you, as Attorney General or anybody else in the country, cannot state what has to be a decision of the court.
Yep.
Only the court can pass sentence. And our Constitution says clearly, no one can be deprived of life except that of the decision of a court. And only the court can pass sentence on someone who has been convicted of murder. Only the court can do so. Used very seldom for the worst of the worst instances when people kill.
This is why we're asking, why didn't they have other things there? Why did they have to go with live ammunition, doing that on the basis of the story we received, that he was the only girl, only person that would know where she is, unless they themselves have more information that they're not telling the public.
This is a case where somebody is under suspicion. The police comes above them after being led by civilian forces or civilian farmers in the area. The police, as we were told, came across this gentleman who is some 6'4" on the ground. Few days before they came across him, he had injured himself. It is assumed he injured himself and broke his leg. So he could...
That's what I was just saying.
...not even stand... Skeletally, he could not even support his own weight. He was on the ground. The issue is, what you have to tell us is whether or not your officers
lied,
shot him while he was on the ground. How many shots did you fire? How many shots?
I heard from another source it was 3. 1 in his leg, 1 in his... Well, anyways.
Were fired in...
I know too, see that.
...into his pelvic area and his groin. That we know for a fact. How many of those shots were fired? And how is it possible for him to have given any statement to the police?
While in
shot in those areas where we have a number of M16 rounds, 5.56 NATO rounds, lodged in his spine area, in his groin area.
Well, he said it ended.
How is that?
He said it looks like multiple areas. So not me, guys. All right.
Possible that he could have given any statement in those circumstances. We are saying that he would have succumbed with his injuries within 5 to 8 minutes. That's what we're saying. And if you have any sense in your head, any professional etiquette, you should get your officers to clarify the position for which we've asked them.
And they said that they shot him in his leg. When I asked one of my medical people, they said that's not supposed to happen unless you shot one in his main vein or something like that. But if you shot in his leg, that's below the knee. And then they call it the lower extremities from the bottom down. But then again,
one, that the gentleman was on the ground when he came under fire. So he was not a threat to anybody. He had no cutlass in his hand, especially not a cutlass of no 3 feet. He had a sab which was found 2 days before. This is...
On Wednesday, 3 days before.
Is in fact an extrajudicial killing, and you know it very well.
Yep.
I thank you for clarifying the position, which means that you provided the rest of the evidence that suggests that your police officers moved across the gentleman who was defenseless on the ground and you executed him. That is what an extrajudicial killing is.
I said that logic, logic, common sense.
It means that you did not offer and allow due process. So don't lecture me about what the law is. Don't.
Unless they had something to hide. I keep saying unless the police had something to hide, maybe themselves was involved. Who knows? Let me leave that alone. Let me leave what I'm thinking about.
Lecture me about no ethics. You all remain in this way, and you know very well. I remind you of the impact study in St. Lucia. Every single one of these little countries, immature democracies, have within the police force a death squad which go and execute people that they feel that the system takes too long to deal with. So we are vigilant. As the police forces are used for political intimidation, we are vigilant. And we warn you, as Attorney General, get your house in order, train your officers, and make sure they don't move anybody in the population and execute them with your extrajudicial killing. We warn you.
But take these people to court. I want to hear the whole info. This, guys, this is vital, you know. This is vital. We need to know this information. And people want to talk and say, oh, he was thinking. It's not about Kian anymore, you know, brothers and sisters. It's about what the police trying to cover up. That is the issue here, is what they're trying to cover up. And the basis of them trying to cover up, what did they do? What did they do? Did they themselves abduct the girl? And try to blame it on him and realize that maybe you will talk and say, well, I do have the girl and whatnot. And ended it right there. Maybe they did that. Not him. Interesting. Guys, what are your thoughts, man? Let me know your thoughts in the comment box below. This is just my thoughts on this right there. Don't forget, guys, check out the previous reaction that I did today. That'll be in the first comment in the comment box below. And don't forget to download the Mystelics Tube app. Pretty much bringing all the content together of different channels on one app right there, so you can get the latest vibrations on that. All links will be in the first comment in the comment box below, guys. I'll see you guys in the next reaction video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Give this video a thumbs up. I would appreciate that right there. And I'll see you guys in the next reaction video. Boom, bang.